Hello everyone, I'm Lindsay Moreland-Head, and I just wanted to go over my project here today for EDIT6190 of Introduction to Right Heart Catheterization for Pharmacists. So the target audience that I am creating this for are our pharmacists, particularly our pharmacists that are just fresh out of pharmacy school and pursuing what we call a PGY1 or PGY2 residency. So first or second year out of pharmacy school, and they're doing extra training before going out and specializing potentially. And what I've found in just working with these subset of learners is that sometimes they struggle with interpreting right heart catheterizations and then how we as pharmacists can take that knowledge that we get from that and use it to make recommendations. So that's what this is really centered around. So it's meant to be about a 30-minute training that they would go through on their own to help solidify some of this knowledge. And so when you work through this module, you will see that every slide, unless it's a quiz or a separate layer, will have a voiceover to help make some of those points more clear. And there are also some animation that comes through with both of them. So if we just walk through quickly, because I didn't want to play the whole thing for you in the actual online, because I've actually set it up where, since the voiceovers are so important, that the next button will be disabled, so they would have to listen to the whole voiceover until it's completed, and then the next button becomes live, so they get full knowledge. This slide will look particularly cool when it's actually you're viewing it, because all of these boxes that you see here on this screen light up as I verbally say each one, and I show them how the catheter moves through the heart. And so I'm particularly proud of highlighting each piece. So then when we get to what measurements they are in a little bit, they actually know what's happening. And we have our when they're obtained, so you give some knowledge. Then we have them next working through what a normal right heart catheterization is. So this is actually an example of one of the layers. They would come to this slide, get a little bit of information from the voiceover, and then they can click on each box. They do have to click on each box before moving to the next slide as well. And then we have an interactive quiz piece where they have to drag and drop into each what the normal parameter is that they just saw on the next slide. They do have the ability to go back and review one more time if needed. And then there's an extra parameter that we have here, and it's organized in a way of such that shows you what normal is, but on either side what the progression would look like for systemic vascular resistance. And the next section we jump to is heart failure. And again, this came up to a layer slide. But this is just what the classifications of heart failure kind of look like, and then what we use the right heart catheterization numbers and how it helps us make decisions. So there's an overview slide, and then we actually have one for each particular category for these patients to help solidify what we would do for each one. So I'm just clicking through them. And then, oops, that's if they don't, and then we have a quiz question at the end of this section to help solidify those, because we need that knowledge before we can make pharmacotherapy recommendations. For the comparison and contrast, it's actually broken down, if you'll notice, into based on learning objectives. This is what the sections are broken down into. How I did it. Then finally we have our cases. There are a total of 3 cases, but the last case actually has 2 components to highlight that specific subset of heart failure patients that we get right heart catheterizations for need more than one therapy. And so we'll have them work through cases where they can get a right heart catheterization number set, and then they have to decide, as you can see on the slide here, what therapy plan might be best for them. So actually applying the knowledge and the end goal, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, that we want them to get. And so this is the last case. I went ahead and skipped ahead, and as you can see too, I tried to have the characters have positive or worrisome or negative interactions depending if they got it right or wrong. And then we just wrap up the series with really this slide is very key, this table slide. So we have them do it one, bring it to their attention one more time with the ability they can screenshot this and keep it for their reference. And then lastly, we just end with a similar slide to the intro slide, and they have the ability to exit from the course. This is just meant to be kind of an overview and supplement their other learning experiences or help clarify some comments. And so that's why I've set it up this way to be interactive, have the key pieces of voiceover. For my accessibility stuff, I did closed captioning, and then I also tried to make it more applicable for a screen reader. And so this is my project to help pharmacists. I will hopefully be rolling it out at the end of this month, and we will see how the PGY ones like it and make modifications from there. But thank you for your time.